Above the history 3-year, environment scientists include displaced the determination of which they trust is the secure range of environment changing. For many decades, researchers reasoned the world heat growth must be stored under 2°C by the end of the age to escape the lowest impacts. But scientists now claim how compliance under is a far more secure range for the planet. Everyone agrees how left under how goal will not be lightweight. The 1 week in Southward Korea, researchers will paper on the practicability and expenses of reaching the reduce range. The scientists of the Interstate Pain on Environment Changing, IPCC, our collection in the town of Incheon to mallet out a schedule in company operation in by the government convention delegates, on the actions how would requirement to be undertaken to encounter the new purpose. In a speech, policy. The concept of 2 degrees as the secure limit for heating developed above a quantity of year of the at first written refer by political economist William Nordhaus in 1975. By the mid-1990s, Europe ministers were signature up to the couple degree range, and by 2010 it was formal union politics. Governments coordinated in Cancun to conduct the growth in world ordinary temperature under 2 degrees. Yet, Little Isle state and cheap-lying countries were really unfortunate in the prospect, since they believed it intended their territories would be flooded in sea water supply as high temperature inflicted more than ice to molten and the seas to extend. They authorized study that showed how prevent temperature of growing for would offer them a fight opportunity. At the bad-fated Copenhagen Environment Summit Conference in 2009, the environment vulnerable nations spurred for the reduced drawing, but their efforts were lose in the accuse game how accompanied the crash of the meeting. But the concept didn't go off fully, and by the period of the Paris talks in 2015, it founded center stage as France's diplomatic corps desired to construct a wide coalition of wealthy and impoverished nations who would supporting a transactions. It treated more than rather than you might believe. Leaked drafts of the IPCC Executive Summary for policymakers how will be published following a 1 week of trade-in by the government convention delegates in Southward Korea spot to several main differences in regulation of the impacts on the planet of 1.5 and 2°C. We've summarized the major ones there. Couple degrees is no much longer the 2 degrees we mind it was, told Kaisaka Sonan of Greenpeace who is tracking the advance of the IPCC paper. He's more proper pointless as a environment purpose, while you see at the risks how would go in it and which we are already testifying in one extent, why would you include a purpose how doesn't defend whatever how we thoroughness on. Really, the planet has already warmed by about one extent and on to leaked drafts of the 1.5 paper, we will sailing history how range by about 2040. The new IPCC paper won't speak governments which to do but will instead of set out a band of approaches how will potential engage hard intermittent in carbon sequestration emissions, a fast transfer to revolving power and way of life and diet changes as so. The IPCC include consumable a lot of period examining how issue and include invented a sly schedule. In their project accountable they say on excess, importance how in lot scenarios they wait temperature to go for 1.5 but they trust they can be clawed behind under the range by with a band of technologies how will shoot carbon sequestration dioxide of the air, these band of landing trees to more than facility, unchecked machines. Several expert, although, trust how down there are significant risks to the attitude. A kind how goes dead at 2 degrees will yet be dead if you go behind downward to, told Dr. Stephen Cornelius of WWF, a ex-UK by the government IPCC mediator. Several things may go behind but several things are permanent, in regulation of take a hazard thou d wish to try and hold under 1.5, and obviously how tool more rapid, more profound over emissions intermittent, and it perhaps tool carbon sequestration dioxide remove. But these technologies, several of them we aware which to do, but several are previous days and requirement to be evaluated. Amazingly, affirmative. Time the problem of restrictive the world heat growth to the age is large, down there are several indicators on the skyline how several governments are recognition the severity of the question and are take stairs to transactions in it. Several environmentalists trust how the path to compliance temperature downward to 1.5 can be made out of invoking to mechanic devices or landing billions of trees. It creates superior air and reduces levels of adiposity. He's a planet we wish to say yes to, quite rather than a future industrialization of our landscapes.